Ingrid, a character who might appear as just a harmless little girl, but in reality is capable of completely eradicating M. Bison in mere seconds. A character who is levels above the power of the Satsui no Hado, a character who is beyond the knowledge of the soothsayer Rose, a character who utilizes an otherworldly power to the likes of which we have never seen. Her name is Ingrid, and she is arguably Capcom's biggest mystery. Now, who exactly is Ingrid? Her appearance is a petite, long silver-haired woman with ruby red eyes. She sports a violet, long-sleeve top to go with her same colored skirt. Under that are brown leggings and a pair of sleigh bar shoes. Despite her young, small, unopposing frame, Ingrid's power is otherworldly and is speculated to be much older than she appears. Never judge a book by its cover, am I right? Ingrid's personality is very nonchalant as she doesn't see her opponents as a threat. She fights with a very unconcerned, playful attitude, for she knows she can destroy her opponents if she so chooses to. The mysteries surrounding Ingrid begin the very moment she was created by Capcom. She has appeared in 2 of Capcom's titles, but neither of them was where she was originally supposed to debut in, thus creating an untold part of Ingrid's lore. Ingrid was originally set to debut in Capcom's 3D crossover fighter, Capcom Fighting All-Stars Code Holder, but the game was scrapped due to the game not being well received by beta testers. The game was supposed to consist of a roster of other well-established Capcom fighting titles like Street Fighter, Rival Schools, Darkstalkers, and Final Fight, and 4 new original characters, one of them being Ingrid. The story was initially going to have her be an owner of one of the 3 codes that was able to stop a bomb threat created by a fellow newcomer, Death, who planned on causing destruction to Metro City with said bomb. Death was said to have an unknown connection to Ingrid. Their connection was left to speculation as the game never got to hit arcades or local game stores. This will leave the 4 new characters who were supposed to be in All-Stars as forgotten. Ingrid would officially make her first fighting game appearance in Capcom Fighting Evolution, which the game's premise was the same as All-Stars minus the 3D aspect. Here we really got to see what Ingrid was all about. Ingrid fights with a mysterious cosmic-like power, manipulating energy, converting it into light-based attacks. In Ingrid's arcade mode, she would seek out to challenge Pyron from Darkstalkers. Pyron, who was able to fuse 3 universes together in hopes of conquering them. Ingrid, who was shown to despise evil forces, intervenes in Pyron's plan, defeating him, banishing him from the universe. However, this is not known to be canon. Here we would learn that Ingrid is against evil and she was what you would call a good guy or good girl, but good girl sounds corny, so I'm going to say good guy. Here we also learned about her immense power. If she was able to defeat someone like Pyron who could merge universes, it is just a clear testament to her true power. Again, however, this may not be canon. Though we learned a lot about Ingrid in Capcom Fighting Evolution, there still wasn't a whole lot to work with. We still only have a vague idea of who she is. But luckily for us, Ingrid was added to the PSP exclusive Street Fighter Alpha 3 Max. In this game we got to learn a ton more about this still mysterious character. Ingrid's arcade mode states she has a problem that has to be fixed fast. It then says she's dashing towards the ominous cloud covering Earth. This tells us Ingrid is not from planet Earth and she's able to travel from planet to planet. She senses someone using a power that is hers and is using it for evil purposes. And since she despises evil forces like we learned in Capcom Fighting Evolution, she wants to put a stop to it and take her power back. As she's on the search for this power, she is drawn to a different evil force, a Satsui no Hado possessed Ryu. Now let me point out that this is evil Ryu we're talking about. Evil Ryu is known as one of the strongest characters in all of Street Fighter and Ingrid barely sees him as a threat. She nonchalantly says, "I guess I have no choice but to teach you a lesson." She beats evil Ryu, breaking him out of his evil state. He comes to and thanks Ingrid, revealing he came into this trance after coming in contact with Bison. We then learn that she was well aware of Bison and Ryu's existence, calling them by name before even officially meeting them. Ryu was shocked about how much knowledge this woman knows about him, but before he can ask any questions, Ingrid is on her merry way. She next comes face to face with another powerful soul, Rose, who her herself uses her own variation of psycho power, soul power. She also possesses the ability to see into the future. Rose is initially taken aback by the fact that she can't read into Ingrid's future. In her words, all she sees is a white haze. Rose questions her about who she is and why she's after Bison. Ingrid reveals to her that the power Bison is using is hers and Bison stole it and is using it for evil purposes and she needs to get it back. Rose wants to seal away the psycho power for good. Assuming the power is bad, she sees Ingrid as bad, thus leading them to fight. Ingrid wins, of course, and says, "Shouldn't worry, we'll keep that power in our custody." Rose questions her again about who she is and replies, "Remember me as the messenger from the stars." She eventually comes face to face with the man himself, and Bison. The two are finally face to face and the long-awaited confrontation is here. Ingrid tells him to hand over the power, for it is not his and it is stolen. Bison tells her he notices her link to the Psycho Drive. Ingrid is disgusted to learn that Bison named her power Psycho Power. He says someone the likes of him could never harness that strong of a power. Bison laughs and says, "Who do you think you are? You have just sealed your fate." The two duke it out in a very anticlimactic battle. It is assumed that Bison was made quick work of in less than 15 minutes. Ingrid wins and says, "The power. Hand it over." Bison says, "Never. I'll never give up my Psycho Drive," and flees. Rose appears and senses the power is coming to its climax, as Bison fled to his Psycho Drive and is hitting peak power. Ingrid arrives and sees Bison at max power but is still unfazed, and tells Bison she'll show him the very end of life itself. Bison tries getting the first shot in, but is countered with ease and eradicated in mere seconds. Ingrid taunts the machine and says, "This power has always been mine. No ordinary human like you could control it." It then cuts to Rose, who is still visibly shook by Ingrid's appearance, but she acknowledges that power is gone and Bison is no more. We then see Ingrid preparing to travel through time again. She plans to travel to the year 2000X and go up against Ryu. And just as quickly as Ingrid appeared, she vanished just as fast. And that's where her story ends. But again, like always, this all might not even be canon. They're taking in all the knowledge that is known about Ingrid. I want to go over all that I've learned and questions I still have, and trust me, there are many questions. So starting off with what I learned is Ingrid is fucking strong. There's no other way to say it. If she could easily defeat a fully powered Bison, beat Ryu out of his Satsui no Hado state, defeat Pyron, who literally merges universes, this character I firmly believe is the strongest Street Fighter character Capcom has created. She's a being of the greater good who detests evil and will stop it no matter what. Now as for the questions, I have a whole lot of them. For one, in the beginning of Ingrid's Alpha 3 arcade mode, it states she's dashing towards the ominous cloud covering Earth. Does this mean Ingrid is not from this planet? And if not, what is she? But what I would argue is she's indeed a human, just a more powerful one, as she says, "This power has always been mine. No ordinary human can control it." Keyword ordinary. She is a human, just not an ordinary one. Maybe she got some enhancements from a greater power. Next question is, was she ever meant to be this strong? Not much is known about Capcom Fighting All-Stars as story mode. For all we know, Ingrid could have been the same as she was in Alpha 3, but just not as godly. If she was as strong as shown in Alpha 3, there is no chance in hell any fighter on that All-Stars roster is getting that code from her. But sadly, this will forever be unanswered, as the story mode was scrapped alongside the game. And not knowing the side of Ingrid's story makes her that much more mysterious, and I fucking love it. Another question that rose my curiosity was when she tells Rose, "You shouldn't worry, we'll keep that power in our custody." Most curious. She says "we'll" and "our." Sounds like to me she's working for an even greater power. Or maybe it's like Mortal Kombat and Ingrid is like an elder god, like a great overseer or a super angel soldier, if you will. Or maybe the others could mean the two other code holders, or Death, who they were said to have a connection back in All-Stars. How did Bison end up acquiring her power if it is truly hers? Does she leave traces behind while time traveling? I could go on for days. This character truly resides inside a deep rabbit hole. To conclude my thoughts on Ingrid, I see a lot of people saying Capcom is neglecting Ingrid, but I feel the reason for it is she's just too damn strong for the Street Fighter universe. Ingrid seems to appear when evil forces arise and can cause catastrophic damage. If that were always the case, we'd see her appear in Street Fighter V when the Black Moons came along. She'd appear in Street Fighter Third Strike with the rise of the Secret Society. She'd appear to stop JP, she'd appear to stop G. Like, it just wouldn't be convenient for the Capcom universe. Like, Street Fighter is a simple fighting game if you think about it. If you compare it to a game like Mortal Kombat where they use a lot of mythical powers, Street Fighter keeps it fairly traditional with theirs, which I'm a fan of. For example, Chun-Li uses Kung Fu, E Honda uses sumo wrestling, Balrog uses boxing, Laura uses jiu-jitsu. It just wouldn't be convenient to have a character like Ingrid running around because it just makes the rest of the roster look like chump change. She would do way better in a game like Mortal Kombat or Darkstalkers where her powers wouldn't be out of the ordinary. Like, I know Street Fighter has like Psycho Power and the Satsui no Hado, but it's just not as OP as Mortal Kombat. I mean, they literally have a fucking elder guy that can shoot thunder at you. But a huge problem with Ingrid is all the games she appears in are not confirmed to be canon and be aligned with the mainline Street Fighter lore. Capcom can easily say Ingrid never existed. If there are mentions of her in the mainline Street Fighter lore, please let me know. Now that would just be fucking baffling and a game changer for this character. Also, to quickly address the title, I'm well aware of who Q is, who is arguably more mysterious than Ingrid. I just needed a good title, man. Like, you know how it goes. Will she possibly be back for Street Fighter 6? Probably not. If Capcom hasn't brought her back when she fit the visuals a lot better, I doubt she'll be in Street Fighter 6 where the game has a more modern street feel. I feel like she'll just continue to make like little cameos and stages and in artworks, maybe a skin for another character. It is a shame she never got a proper debut. You know, she was lucky enough to be playable in other games, which is a luxury the other newcomers of Capcom Fighting All-Stars would not get. You know, for whatever reason, Capcom just wants to get rid of their existence. And also, big thank you to @username smallugly3469 who suggested I make this video. Big salute to you, sir. And also thank you all for 385 subscribers. Support on the channel has been crazy as of late. It's all thanks to you kind folks, and yeah, content is going to continue to come. You know, I haven't uploaded in a while because circumstances, this and that. You know how life goes. With all that being said, it's been the Masked Assailant, and I am signing off. Hope to catch you all in the next one.